But this works for consumer apps too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that there's all kinds of areas where new kinds of software, new kinds of devices will be created both in consumer and in enterprise. Obviously, what's going to really happen on mobile is still yet really to play. And so I think that just saying, oh, look, all the interesting things have been invented is just...
Well, so to put this further into context, Paul Graham wrote an article yesterday called Farming Black Swans.
Yep.
And he talked about Peter Thiel's talk a while ago. We're now referencing like third party indirectly, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. He said Peter has a Venn diagram that has, he's like, it has to, for ideas to get traction and to get investment and people, it has to sound like a bad idea, because if it wasn't, somebody's already done it. Yes. So he drew a circle. It sounds like a bad idea, but it actually has to be a good idea for it to work. And so he has another circle that says actually is a good idea, and it's the overlap between sounds like a bad idea and is a good idea that's interesting. And what do you think about that in terms of?
Well, I think one of the really key things for most really significant companies is you need to have enough traction without competition. It's not from the big companies. Yeah. It's from other startups, where you begin to establish a basis, and then it later becomes understood to be a really great idea. Yeah. LinkedIn had that characteristic, Google had that characteristic, Facebook had that characteristic as an investment. Everyone knew it was highly active amongst college students, but all the discussion there is it wouldn't spread past college students, it would never monetize, all of these kind of classic things. So to have a great investment, either as a founder or as an investor, is you want to be contrarian and right. Right? Yep. So contrarian is, one version of contrarian is it seems like a bad idea. Another version of contrarian is people just don't see it. They don't see this trend coming, they don't see that happening, and then you want to be right about it. And so the problem is if it's an idea that lots and lots of people have, then people have been trying it a bunch, there's a huge amount of competition, and that makes it very difficult to make it into a huge company.
For me, Uber was this way. I mean, I'd never thought about Uber as possible. And then Travis, one day we were driving, he told me about Uber, it just launched. I was like, oh my God. It's one of the things like, how did I not think of that? Like, how did I think about, basically, it's not exactly Airbnb for cars, but it's just, I can't live without it now. So what is the thing that is like, once we hear it, it's like, oh my God, that's it. You must have one or two of those up your sleeve, right?
Not necessarily.
You don't have ideas every day like that?
No, I mean, well, most of my ideas, I like to have entrepreneurs come and bring me their ideas, because actually those are the ones that are like your experience with Travis,
like
which is that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think that there is, I think that the fact that there's going to be more of those every year in a vibrant, innovative economy is just a fact.
So David was completely wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. David was completely wrong. Twitter, the way they're acting is partially bullshit. Yahoo might or might not be a buy. What else did we get out of today? You like Craigslist. Say one more, just say one thing that's semi-controversial before we go.
Semi-controversial?
Yeah.
All right, that's a little hard.
Twitter, they really screwed you guys over, right? And all you're saying is partial bullshit. I think you can just say, like, what did you say around the office when you first heard about it? Did you say, this is partially bullshit, or did you say...
That's a good question. I think we were alarmed at, like, okay, one of the things we had wanted was we wanted to have the liquidity, of kind of...
so it was full bullshit.
Of a set of status updates. And so... And we thought that was most naturally part of the Twitter sphere as a way of doing it. And that's part of the reason we still allow people to tweet out, right, when they're posting it on LinkedIn. But but we were very pleasantly surprised.
At their partial bullshit?
No, at the fact that the product actually got better.
Oh, that you didn't actually care once it was gone. All right. Thanks very much, Reid. Appreciate your time.
Yep. Great to see you.
Disrupt.